At the same time, we have to reopen the conversation about how we're going to organize ourselves in this place, so that what remains of the Wild UP can flourish and the people living here can thrive. I think it's imperative, too, that Save the Wild UP stay connected with other groups around the lake facing similar challenges. Just one example is the op-ed Kathleen wrote in the Star Tribune about Governor Dayton's visit to the Eagle Mine. That made a difference to people in Minnesota. It was widely shared and talked about. People connected with it. And I have to believe that there's power in those connections, even in little connections. There's power in conversation, in cooperation, in community. There's power when we come together, when we are no longer strangers and no longer estranged from each other. There would be power, I believe, in an international congress where people from all around Lake Superior gathered to talk about mining and development, to share their stories, and to connect. This isn't the power the mining companies and the state can wield, sure. It's another kind of power. It's coordinated, it's collective, it's non-coercive. It's one that we as a society have done very little to realize. And we're going to need that power to meet this current challenge. Now, you may have noticed that I'm using the word "we" all of a sudden. And I'm conscious that by doing that, I may be overstepping a little bit and including myself where I'm not included. But I also think that maybe that's why I keep coming back to the UP, because deep down, I know that this is actually not a faraway or a strange place for me. It's a very familiar place where I have a stake in things, and where I think we all have a stake, and where by we all, I mean all of humanity. After all, the Wild UP, which to you may seem local, the Wild UP that we're organized to save is not just wilderness, waterfalls, warblers, wolves, and a lot of other things that begin with W, apparently. The Wild UP is, I think, the stage of humanity's tragic predicament at this point in history. It marks a boundary that we cross at our peril, right? And it can be a vital source of economic and social renewal. So ultimately, saving the Wild UP is about realizing the power and the political authority we all have. Everyone in this room, people all across the UP and all around the lake, to govern ourselves and make decisions about the future we want. What do we see on the horizon? What do we want for our children, for our grandchildren, for our great-grandchildren, and so on down the line? What do future generations require of us? What are they asking us? What do we owe them? I think these are all very important questions. They sound abstract, but if you think about it, if you need to think about it more concretely, look at your child or your grandchild or your great-grandchild, and there's the answer right there. I think that these questions and the conversation around them is one that we need to keep having. And I think it's also why this organization deserves all the support we can give it. Every bit of support we can give it. Because Save the Wild UP connects us and shows us that we can be both powerful and responsible at the same time.